Hi, folks. Welcome to Life Chat with Brian and Kat. I'm Brian.
And I'm Kat. So today on this episode, we wanted to kind of chat about what it means to cultivate and even protect a mind power mindset and how different influences affect our mindset and how we can actively choose positivity over the negative. Ultimately, you're going to have 80% of your thoughts are going to be negative. So how can we turn those around?
Right. Like for instance, when you wake up in the morning, that first hour and a half, that's when your mind is the most absorbent. So you really want to be mindful of how you're feeling that moment and that
Mhm.
time. So obviously, it's one of those things that if you go in and you start getting bombarded by news and all of this other things that it can really kind of set the mood for your day. But if you can take that moment and set it aside, say for instance doing some positive reading, doing some meditation, doing some different things like that, something that's positive, then that's going to help make sure that your day throughout the day gets started off correctly.
Right. And so some of the things that it can be negative if you're continuing to absorb it is the news and social media. Right now, that seems to be that just consumes a lot of time. I know at a course of my life, the news consumed me, and I know all of us are guilty of what is it? Getting lost in the
Scroll hole.
what is it?
The
Scroll
scroll hole.
scroll hole. Everybody knows. So what is it? On TikTok. TikTok is that's the worst. And so then you just kind of have to ask yourself, I mean, is what are you getting out of this? Is
Yeah.
there anything
Well,
positive about it?
and it's not saying that it's not bad. You just need to basically, just make sure that the time that you're spending, and this would be even for kids playing video games,
Yep.
sitting down watching nothing but TV and stuff all of the time. There's some unhealthy habits and stuff there that if you're
Mhm.
not careful can really kind of take over and really be non-productive for you in the long run.
Yeah, because I know we've really started probably, I would say, within the last 3 months, we've
Yeah.
really made a conscious decision to keep everything positive as much as we can throughout the day. And if we have something negative that does kind of enter our thoughts, or we're having, a kind of a negative day, we just kind of have to stop, regroup, and just say, well, what do we want instead?
Yeah.
And try to implement that.
Correct. Yeah, just make that change there.
Yeah.
Because it's extremely important to protect yourself there. Um, so think about the people that you spend the most time with. Because that also too can be something that can be not positive for you. One of those things is we've kind of gone through this. We've got some people and stuff who had some negative influences in our lives, and I won't necessarily say we've had to cut them completely out, but we've had to kind of limit and back
Limit.
off the amount of time that we were there. And then obviously going into it, when we were meeting with them, we'd had to protect our minds and stuff there just to kind of make sure that we did the best we could with what we had.
Yeah, and I think it's just creating that healthy boundary.
Yes, boundary.
And I
That's the
think
word
the
I was looking for.
boundaries are what you're going to have to do because if not, I'm an incredibly empathetic person, and so I just absorb, anything and everything, and so if it's too much negativity, that doesn't help you. So so you want to be able to make sure you are kind of assessing your response to that negativity.
Well, but you can kind of go back talking about the circle of friends.
Hmm.
As that saying goes, you are the equivalent of the five or six people that you hang
Yeah.
out with, and you literally could go through there, and there's been studies that people go and they can show, and if they take the average income or the average mindset of those people, then they can kind of figure out where you are. So if you're around a bunch of negative people, then you're going to be the fifth or the sixth. So just be very careful and mindful of the group that you hang with and around.
Right. And so, there's a lot of strategies that you can utilize to try to detach from negativity and kind of maintain that social and emotional balance.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest on
Well, I
that?
mean, like for instance, I'm not sitting here saying we don't watch any news. We do, but we consume it nowhere near what we
Oh,
did.
Lord.
We get on, we get the information that we want, and then we shut it off and go on about our day.
Right.
Because here's the beautiful thing about 24-hour news cycle. The news yesterday is going to be fairly close to what it is this morning. They're just going to talk about it 500 times. So just disassociate with it, turn it off, change the channel. Also too, on your cell phones, just turn them off, turn it upside down, turn the ringer off so that you can kind of detach from it and have those times away from that. Kids, just basically schedule
Mhm.
their time that they're going to be on these video games and things. So, we're not on here saying that all of these things are bad. We're just saying make sure that you're being very mindful of the amount of time that you're spending on those things.
Right. And so there's a lot of tools out there that I know that we utilize to keep a healthy mind power mindset and keep it positive. And such as books. I know
Yeah.
you have read probably way more than I have on personal development.
Personal development books
And
and
we've
just
got podcasts such as ours is
yeah.
very positive podcast. You want to listen to good podcast, and or what other activities can you
Well,
think
we'll
of?
we'll take and we'll put when we're working throughout the day, we'll put on Spotify and we'll have some cool jazz or whatever.
Instrumental.
We'll just kind of change it up a little bit, but just make sure that it's there low and most of it's like I said, it's jazz and instrumental type stuff. So
Mhm.
it kind of helps build that vibe when you're actively working throughout the day.
Right, right. And so, and also too, another thing that I would say, or probably the last few months, is I've really been intentional of being in the moment,
Oh
being
yeah.
present in the moment, because I am a perfectionist. I don't want to be, but I am, and I'm a planner. And so for me, it's I'm so busy planning for the future and getting stressed out and having anxiety that I too have to take a moment and go, okay, what am I doing right now at this moment that's positive and that can maybe help to alleviate some of those anxious feelings? And I find that if I can concentrate on the moment,
Yes.
then
And
I just feel better at the end.
that goes even with parents with the kids and stuff.
Mhm.
And just basically making sure that it's not like the kids expect a whole lot of time, but if you'll take time to spend it with them uninterrupted, then it really will make a huge difference in how they feel about themselves.
Well, and you think about it, I mean, it's monkey do, monkey see, monkey see, monkey do.
Sure.
But my point being is if all that you're all if all you're doing is handling situations and it's high stress and it's anxiety, guess what? Those little eyes that are watching you,
Yeah.
that is how they're going to learn how to deal with problems. And instead, take a deep breath. Let's reflect on the moment. Let's have gratitude for the moment. And I think you'll find that the kids will absorb that and be able to implement that in their lives.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There'll be times that they'll light you up. We raised three boys, so
Oh gosh, yes.
we were very fortunate. But yes,
Right,
they would definitely get
right.
us going. Um, so how often do you find yourself fully present in the moment?
Yeah.
Um, so basically what we kind of do is, in the mornings when we start our day, what we like to do is kind of take a moment and think of three things that are positive. Think of, and kind of sit there and bathe in all of those emotions and, sights, sounds, feelings, taste, self-talk, and just kind of set in those. And, I know that we've mentioned this multiple times, but I can't stress to you how much that first hour and a half of your day really can set you up for a great day. And you just take that moment and do that. And we also too go through and we do some exercises and stuff as well. I know the last time we talked about it, we'd kind of been working on, had been struggling to try to implement that, but we've done. We're on a roll now, so hopefully we can get that. Well, it's going to. It's going to stay right where it needs to be, and become an integral part of our day.
Sure, and like develop those habits, because that's the biggest thing. And you know, we've said this before too. What's easy to do is also easy not to do,
Right.
and that I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, we struggle with that. We struggle with that because we are full-time, RVers. And so
Right.
there's a sense that we feel like we're on vacation, all the time. Sorry, that's our dog Brendy. But it's trying to figure out how your day looks and how we can, get through the day and remain positive and be able to get all of the things that we need to get done and implement these things that we know works and is easy to do, and it doesn't cost anything, but yet we still struggle with trying to do that every single day.
Well, and consistency is the key, and then if you fall off of it, as far as, you don't do it one day, don't beat yourself up with it. Just say, okay, well, we didn't do that today. Let's continue. Let's see, continue to strive to get better.
Sure.
And that goes back to that whole getting better 1% each day. But if you'll consistently do that through time, it will become a habit.
Yep.
And then once it becomes a habit, then it's going to be so much easier to get on track and stay on track. And it'll actually get to a point to where if you don't work out or whatever it is that you're trying to implement, it will bother you. And that's where we're hoping to get with that.
Sure. And so there's a lot of things that you can kind of do that would be a creative activities that can bring you joy, or wherever you can be able to express yourself. That's a positive thing. I know for me, I write, and a lot of people may journal. These are great ways to kind of express yourself, put your thoughts, put your feelings down, and be able to kind of go back and assess them. Okay, what was I doing on this day? I seem to be very, very happy, and they brought me a lot of joy. Well, what was that? And so, I would encourage everyone to journal and to write, and put down your thoughts and feelings.
Well, and I think that also too kind of goes hand in hand with kind of having a time that you set aside so that you can do a digital detox. Turn off the TV, turn off all of the technology, and step away for a moment. Even if you could do it for 30 minutes to an hour and just be, plan to do something with the kids during that time, plan to do something that, like, with your spouse during that time.
Learn something new.
Absolutely. Because, a lot of times we get so entwined in our day-to-day routines that really sometimes we just absolutely positively miss some of the great things, and then obviously us as parents who've raised 3 boys. I mean, obviously, yeah, we had our kids for 18 years, but man, did that time not fly.
It really
And there's
did.
so you want to make sure that you take time for every single moment that you can to enjoy, and you want it to be a positive one. So literally set it aside, do that. Like for instance, if we had our table today, and of course cell phones were not as big as they were,
Right.
or they are now, but we always sit down around the table, the dinner table, and we all ate, and we'd take a turn going around. Tell us about your day. What was positive about your day? So that's something that we always try to do every single night, is to have the whole family around the table. No, and for us, if we did it today, it would be like no cell phones, no TV. It's just us. And those little moments really, really add up and really change a lot of aspects there.
Sure. So, and so that kind of goes into, learning something new. Maybe you're trying to do setting a personal goal or something like that. That's part of that. That's part of what you need to do. Like, think about the things that you can improve on. Maybe you don't, like for me, one of my personal goals this year was I wanted to leisurely read more. I used to be an avid reader. I've always written, but I kind of lost sight of that, what I always felt with positive reading. And so, yeah, I read some positive, like, personal development books, but I mean, I'm talking about just lose yourself in a book. And so I've really been implementing that to try to at least read some leisurely reading every evening before I go to bed. That's kind of there's no TV, there's no cell phones, there's no distractions, just me and my book. So that's one way that I think I could do that as well.
I agree with you there. Just having that downtime really, really, really helps. And then also too, if you're going to sit around with a family and you want to watch TV or watch a movie, one of the biggest things that we've really done is to really be mindful of the movies that we are watching, to make sure that it's got a positive mindset to it. So in other words, like what we've watched, couldn't tell you how many times we watched The Greatest Showman. I mean,
Greatest Showman is the
that's
best.
a great one. Then we also we watched Arnold, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger's
kind of his
biography
basically.
movie that's out there.
Yep.
And it's really, really interesting to kind of watch those. Sly Stallone did one called Sly. But we've watched those and to kind of see those people and how they deal with their mental challenges and the things that they did coming up, and how they got to where they are. It's really, really fascinating to kind of see and watch and hear and listen to those things. The Hill, we watched that one just the other night.
I guess it was about a baseball player who had some sort of spine degeneration. I don't know if that's how you say that, but anyway, and was in braces when he was young, and wore these huge, clunky
but
braces.
Anyway, ended up becoming a pro baseball player. But it's movies and shows like that that's kind of been
people who showed resiliency.
Yeah.
How they got where, because these weren't people, like Arnold and Sly and, Jack Hill. And these are people, even the Kobe Bryants, the late Kobe Bryant. So these are people that they knew how to implement their mindset to where they could achieve the things that they wanted to achieve.
Right.
And they really, their stories kind of tell you how they did that. And we are huge proponents of that. I think that getting your mind straight and kind of trying to not block out the negative, because you want the learnings from negativity or negative thoughts,
but you also you want to protect you want to protect the gateway. You want to protect your mind.
Yep.
Obviously what you put into it's kind of how your day is going to go and how your thoughts are going to go. Because you stop and think about it. If you're, say, a cashier is at the counter and says something to somebody and they get all upset and they leave, and they're all in a huff. We don't know what happened with him. Did he lose his job that day? And then you go out and as he's going out, he runs into somebody who just got proposed to that day. And, they take a different mindset because they're in a good mood of, oh, well, I hope he's okay.
Right.
So that's how your mood, your emotions, all kind of go hand in hand and how your day's going to go. So therefore, if you're in a positive mindset and things go wrong, then you're going to be able to deal with it and cope with it in a more positive way, in a more positive manner.
Nope, I agree. So, but anyway, you have any other thoughts before we kind of wrap this up?
No, I think, we can wrap this up, but I think it's absolutely important to obviously, control your mindset, control your mind, be the gateway, be mindful of that hour and a half. That's a prime time to sit down and read a good
mornings,
book, or something like that during that time when your mind is most absorbent for good things. So really, really protect that time, protect your mindset throughout the day. Be mindful of the social media input, the TV input, and be really present
into your mind,
and really
period.
be present in the moments.
Yep.
I think a lot of those things just kind of go hand in hand.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess we need to, you guys want to follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, you can get all of that on,
TikTok.
You can go to @brianandkatpierce.com.
Yep.
And all of our social media apps are there, so you can link up with us and shoot us a message. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if there's anything that you guys would like for us to talk about. We would be more than happy to do that.
And you want any more information about our Mindpower mindset coaching programs? We've got them out there, so we'd be happy to discuss any of that with you. And guys, thanks for joining us today. I know this might be a little bit of a short episode, but I think we've packed a lot of information in there to you guys to uncover. And bottom line is, keep those positive vibes high and that mind power higher.
And stay magical, folks.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.